Hi, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Coffee Break with Melissa. I am joined today with the lovely Miss Nacia Patterson.
Hello.
Hey, Nacia. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. What do you guys think? Drop a comment if you like this headphone look. We're up in our tech game.
Yeah, it seems pretty official to me.
Right? Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
I have some lights that I didn't get a chance to put up, but for next time. But I'm having fun with this.
Yes.
See if you guys like it. Anyway, let's talk about our drinks. I haven't tried mine yet. Yeah. I'm copying off of what you wanted.
Oh, you got
so
the
tell
same
us.
thing?
Yeah, tell us.
So I like good caramel and vanilla together. So pretty sweet.
Okay.
But iced coffee, a little bit of caramel, a little bit of vanilla. I don't know what else they used in there, but it tastes pretty similar to what I would get if I was going to, honestly, anywhere. Starbucks.
Oh.
I'm a big 7 Brew person.
I never heard of that. What is that?
It's a coffee shop. The nearest one, I think, is Sterling. That's the one that I go to. They're a southern coffee shop, so they're starting to make their way up this way. But they've got all kinds of energy drinks and teas and all kinds of goodies.
Okay. Well, hey, 7 Brew, if you're listening, there's a market here for you.
Yes,
got a testimonial.
Yep.
Okay, well, let me try it.
Yeah.
And try it. Try have some. Whoa. Yum.
Good, right?
So freaking good.
Yeah.
You're right. It compares to like all these like expensive places that you named and yummy.
Yeah.
Oh, so good. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Yum. Okay. I'm a happy girl. Okay, it's a rainy day, guys, but it's all good.
It rained the whole way here.
Right? Yeah. Okay, so we're having a lot of fun already. I get distracted sometimes. Okay. So I didn't mention your role. Tell us what you do, how you help us here at LSSI.
So I am a foster parent.
Yay.
So I've been a foster parent going on almost 5 years now, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah. So
has it gone by fast?
Yes, it has. I was just talking to my mom the other day about how I don't even remember my life before it.
Seriously?
Yeah, like I went from college to becoming a teacher and became a foster parent within the first year of being a teacher and living on my own. And I don't remember that small period of time of what my life was like without being a parent or having kids and being a foster parent. So,
wow.
Yeah.
Well, you say that with a glow. You don't seem like you're regretting it too much if you do. Like you're saying that like,
I mean, I wouldn't change it for the world. I mean, my kids are everything to me and the experience has helped me grow as a person too. I always say just as much as the kids need us, we need them. There's so much that can be learned from our kids that we don't even realize as adults that sometimes we need.
That's so true.
Yeah.
And beautiful. So you being so young, were you ever underestimated?
Oh, from the get-go. I mean, I initially had reached out to DCFS to be licensed. And when I told them, my story and why I wanted to be a foster parent and my age and kind of what my goals were in life, they were like, well, if you're not going to stay in Illinois for more than 2 years and you're so young, like you probably shouldn't be a foster parent. And they turned me away.
Wow.
And so then that's when I reached out to LSSI and gave them the same story and told them about why I wanted to do it and where my heart came from. And they were like, okay, we're all on board, if you're willing to put in the time and effort. And within, I think, a couple weeks, they were out ready to start the licensing process.
Wow.
So.
Oh, I'm glad you called us.
Yeah.
And I'm glad it didn't work out there because we're happy to have you.
Yeah, it's definitely been an experience. And like I said, wouldn't change it for anything, the good, the bad. It's all been worth it for sure.
No, that's awesome. So you said kids. So how many do you have and how old are they?
So I have 2. I have my daughter who I've adopted through foster care. She's 6.5 and she is the sassiest little thing you will ever meet. Has been from the get-go. She was 18 months when she was placed with me.
Okay.
Toddler. So yeah, she was a toddler. And so that's the thing too, not being a mom before, they show up one day at your door and are like, here's this child, and you just have to dive into being a parent, So it was me and her kind of grew up together in a sense. And then I have a foster son who's her actual biological brother, and he's 3.5.
Okay.
So we've got toddler and like starting to be, I'm a big kid now in the home, and it's just all energy and all noise all the time.
Nice. And how old was the little brother when you got him?
I picked him up from the hospital.
Okay.
At a month old from the NICU. Yeah. So he has been with me since the beginning.
Cool.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to ask the question in a way, the toddler, when she came to you,
Mm-hmm.
how did you bond? Like, I know it's like meet their physical needs.
Yeah.
Like, that's massive at that age for like building trust.
Yeah.
But like, did you feel like, did she present with like sadness or like?
There was a very prevalent sign of a lack of attachment for her, that she didn't get that in that first year and a half before she came to me. So I had to do a lot of extra above and beyond to build that bond with her. And even now at 6.5, we still struggle because there was just one, she came into my care later than that first year and a half where you really bond with a baby. And two, she didn't get that in the environment she was in before. So I've had to put in a lot of extra above and beyond effort and even almost baby her. Even though, yeah, she's 6.5, she's a kid, I almost have to go back to some of that toddler affection and love and attachment to be able to help build that connection with her, because that was something that she kept pushing me away a lot in the beginning. And it was easy to say like, oh, she doesn't want me or she doesn't love me. And it's like, no, she needs it, but that's the only way she knows how to respond. So it took a lot of time and effort, and it'll be a process that we'll have to work through, I think, her entire life.
Wow. And every kid is different, but it just makes me think of like, if that's your experience with a toddler, imagine our older kids.
Yeah.
Definitely. Even
you
think a 4-year-old, that's still young.
Yeah.
But as you get older,
it's harder and harder.
Yeah. And
yeah.
That's why we need great foster parents willing to put in that work.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a high school teacher also, and I have students who are in youth and foster care. And being a high school teacher, I've learned to connect with some of those students, and I share that I'm a foster parent with my students. So those kids typically want to talk to me about their situations. And even those high school kids talk about how, they want to be loved, but they don't know how to accept it. And so from a foster parent standpoint, you really have to go above and beyond and not take things personal when kids lash out or take it out on you, or they don't listen, or they're defiant, because it's not personal to you. Yeah. It's the trauma speaking, and they really do just need someone to be in their corner and love them no matter what.
Exactly. And it takes a while to trust positive attention and trust love, because if you haven't had it or had it consistently, it doesn't feel good.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I mean, it may on one level feel good, but it's not so readily acceptable. Like it does take time.
Yeah, definitely.
Wow. So, and that's different with the one you brought home from the hospital, right?
Yeah. I mean, even before he came home from the hospital had given me visitation privileges. So I was actually allowed to go and bond with him in the NICU because at the time they had thought that it was going to expedite because I had the sibling. So at that time we had thought that's where it was going to go. So the hospital was like, he needs someone to come and hold him. A baby being born substance exposed needs that. And so they really pushed for me to be there as much as I could be, being working and a single mom too. She was 3 at the time, but to bond and hold him and, just even though it's simple, you hold a baby, but those babies need so much extra love and care and ability to feel safe, even from a tiny little being that they don't do anything, but they just need that. Yeah. But his attachment to me is so much stronger than his sister's. And it's very evident that first year and a half made a world of difference when you talk about creating attachment and a bond in a safe space.
No, that's really, I'm glad people are hearing this from, someone who's experienced both.
Yeah.
And so something I'd add to that is, even though you picked him up from the hospital, there's like studies that whatever children experience in the womb, it's not necessarily like there's no work to be done
because
of the trauma. And
there's still so much work that's still being done. And there's even things that we've noticed, especially as he's getting older and talking and things that we're like, okay, this could be due to all of that in your utero trauma that, again, a lot of people don't realize it happens. And so to see the difference that makes on the way that these kids develop and the way that they interact and, you know, just even how they function in the school setting and all of those things. It's definitely something that, like, yeah, sure, he's been in the same environment since he was born. Doesn't mean that trauma's still not there.
Yeah. And taking the trauma to the side, what about like nutrition? Mm-hmm. Even something as basic as like you take that for granted is like,
just being fed properly and, like, you know, taking care of your own body.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah. I just, my heart hurts for parents that there's so many things, so many barriers, so many things that they struggle with, you know.
Yeah.
If you have a pregnant mom and she's like homeless or in a domestic violence situation, like,
and you feel for them, you truly do, because to some extent, it's not all their fault. You know, it's not something that, you know, you can sit there and just point the finger at the parent, because it's not always their, you know, it's the cards they were dealt in life, right? Some of it comes from generational, right? So their parents put them in that position that then they didn't know any different. And so we can't always just point the finger at the parents or blame them or say that it's always their fault.
Exactly. Like being under-resourced is no fun.
Yeah.
And even foster parents, it's isolating.
Oh, it's
not, you can have all the material, you can have a lot of money and like not have like certain issues personally, but you need a tribe.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you cannot be a foster parent without the support. I mean, especially being a single foster parent, I would not be able to be where I am without my community around me. And it's not even just family. You know, a lot of people are like, well, what if your family doesn't support it?
Exactly.
Find other resources and people that can support you. I have tons of coworkers. I even, being a high school teacher, some of my past students that have now graduated, you know, come back and babysit for me.
Oh, wow,
or,
that's cool.
You know, they always check in or like, how are you doing? Or how are the kids? You know, because I teach parenting and child development. So
nice.
We talk about families all the time in my classes. And so a lot of my kids want to know, you know, how are my family and my situation? And so being able to have that community across the board in my life has helped make this journey a little bit easier, because it is hard. It is isolating, you know, unless you're a foster parent, you don't understand it. Yes. Even my family, you know, they want to support me as much as they can and they mean well, but they still don't understand.
Yeah, no, what you're saying is really, I'm seeing a parallel between kids that have been hurt in one way or another, or even just by virtue of being in care, that is a trauma.
Yeah.
And they are under-resourced, you know, and they come into a home and it takes trust building for them but they have to accept the love eventually, you know, or be willing to give their caregivers a chance.
Yeah.
And it's the same thing with, just because we're adults doesn't mean that we don't go through the same thing.
Exactly.
And you have to, you know, I encourage foster parents and just anyone that's feeling under-resourced to like be willing to put yourself out there.
Yeah.
Because it's intentional.
Mm-hmm. You have to. I mean, you have to be willing to take risks.
Yes.
Yeah. If you don't take risks, you're not going to be able to break down those walls for yourself, for the children, for the adults you have to work with. Because, you know, we think about foster care and we think about the kids, but like you have to work with a lot of different adults, good, bad, and otherwise, you know. Yes. So you have to be willing to, you know, have mature and hard conversations and, you know, break those walls down, not just for the kids, but for yourself and your own sanity too.
Yeah, exactly. And we like something that I've, in my years of casework, workers try to help parents identify supports and tease them out and build them, you know, and just same with foster parent, you know, parenting isn't easy.
No,
and, you know, self-care is really important, even if it has nothing to do with the kid, but like having someone you can vent to, you know, go and have a cup of coffee with, that you trust if you're having a really bad day, that's like, hey, come and hang out with my kid. Let me step out.
Yeah.
You know, that's so important.
Oh, it is. It truly is. I mean, and I can contest to this. I was the worst at that in the beginning. I was like, I got it. I can do it on my own. I don't need help. And I realized when I started to burn myself out that I was like, no, I need help,
Okay.
and it's okay to ask for help, and it's okay to get a babysitter and go do something by yourself. Because I was that parent that the first probably 2 years of my daughter's life that she was with me, I never left her. Other than like to go to daycare while I was at work.
Yeah.
Because I would feel guilty like, oh, well, she's at school all day while I'm at work and or whatever. I need to spend time with her.
Yeah.
And then I realized like, no, it's okay to, go out and have a dinner by yourself or go out with friends every once in a while. So
did you feel that you had something to prove?
In a sense, yeah. Like I was just like, I have to be strong, But I also felt it as like on her side of it. I didn't want her to think I was leaving or abandoning her. So from that perspective too.
Okay. Did you eventually, once the attachment got better, did you feel like she was at a spot where she wouldn't think that? Like,
yeah. And so she's hit or miss. Sometimes she's still, even now, like it'll be random. She hangs out with my grandma all the time. But if my grandma comes to my house and watches her, and I go somewhere, she might melt down and cry and like, don't leave. But then if I'm like, oh, you're going to Gigi's house to stay the night, she's like, okay, yay. So it's just, it depends on the situation with her. There's still times, but I kind of look at that as like a good sign, because that shows attachment. If she's sad that I'm leaving, I'm like, oh, wow, she actually wants me to be here.
Yeah, no, totally.
So it's a good thing.
Wow. Oh, I love talking to you.
Thanks.
So I don't know, what would you do differently or wish you would have known?
Oh, that's a hard one. I mean, I don't think I would have done anything differently. I think that the biggest thing that I can look back and say is I've gotten more of a voice the more I've done this. And so I've been willing, and I would say I'm a pretty patient person, but I've put up with a lot of stuff throughout the last 5 years as a foster parent that in the beginning I maybe should have held more true and strong to.
Okay.
In terms of being a voice and being an advocate. Because as we know, people are human. And so just as, parents make mistakes, caseworkers and people within the system make mistakes too. And so just making sure that at the end of the day, whatever decisions are being made are best for the children and not necessarily what the adults want or what makes the adults' lives easier. Because I think I was willing to just be like, oh, I have to be quiet because, I don't have a role here. My job is to care for the kids and I don't need to say anything. And it's like, no, as a foster parent, I'm the one taking care of these kids. And realistically, I know what's best because I'm the one, raising them and taking care of them in and out. So I think it's really important to stand up and have a voice and not be afraid to use that voice to be able to get what's best for that child.
No, that's so true. Like, it's so easy for the system to look at foster parents as babysitters while whatever happens in the case happens.
Yeah.
And then I really, that bothers me.
No. And it's been something that I've been talking with other foster parents about. I have a couple friends that are foster parents also. And the biggest thing that we're having issues with right now with the system is foster parents have no rights and no voice. And continuing to want to push for like legal legislation changes for foster parents to give us more of a voice in the courtroom, because we are the ones truly taking care of these kids and know these kids in and out. And we see the good, bad, and the ugly of even the parents and the system and the caseworkers and all of the pieces that a lot of other people that are making the decisions for these kids in the system aren't seeing.
Yes. So, no, I hope that happens. So just so that people at home know, foster parents are able to go to court, definitely, and encouraged to. You go to the ACRs, case reviews. You have access. You're able to, if they're, all kids have a guardian ad litem, their own attorney.
Yep. Some have a CASA.
Yep.
My little one has a CASA also.
Yep, a CASA. That's like minimum, but you have a presence. What more? So someone that would be like, well, what are you talking about? You could go to court. You have access to people, decision makers,
Yeah. I mean, you have access to those individuals, but when it comes to being in that courtroom, you don't have really a voice to speak. I have written letters. I will say you can write a letter to the judge every single court date, and I have been that foster parent that writes a letter to the judge to give her an insight into the child's life from my perspective, because they're typically getting everything second account from everybody else on the team.
Do you file it yourself, or do you give it to the worker?
I give it to usually the GAL.
Okay.
Is who I give mine to. But I send it to everybody. I mean, I'm like, here it is, whether it's good, bad, or otherwise, I let obviously everyone has the right to see and read it, but I do make sure it gets filed with the judge before every court date. And I know that they have said that there are sometimes chances where foster parents can testify and speak on behalf of situations. I never have, but it can, be an option depending on the situation. But there's just a lot of stuff that gets talked about that a lot of times they ask you to leave the room. And
confidentiality.
There's a confidentiality of piece of the parents, but also sometimes that information is important as a foster parent to know because it impacts the child, and especially as kids get older. I've only had younger kids in the system, but when we're talking about kids who have a voice, if kids are talking about things and you're like, well, I don't know if this is true, or I don't know how this was handled. How do I know unless I get the true facts, from the parents or from the casework team? So I could see that being difficult, not being able to have all of the information per se. I think too, understanding that to care for the child and help them through their trauma, we have to understand the trauma that happens. And we don't always get that information.
Oh, that's so true. Until you adopt, then
that's when you get all the info.
Yeah.
I mean, I had my daughter at 18 months. I didn't adopt her till she was a little over 3. There was information I didn't know about her until we had gone to file the adoption paperwork.
It would have been helpful to know.
Mm-hmm. Medical stuff even.
Yeah.
So just information like that would be really, really important to know. And I mean, some kids we know spend years in foster care. So if I'm caring for a child for years, I should be able to know the things that they have been through in their life and some of their medical history. And, some of that stuff is just not given to you as a foster parent.
Yeah, no, it's important to know what, even generally, like abuse or neglect. Well, was there physical abuse involved? What kind of abuse?
Yeah, even looking at who the abuse was coming from. So like when my daughter first came to me, she was very scared of men of color. And we couldn't understand why, because biological father was African American, my dad is African American. So when my dad would come around at first, she was very scared. And we couldn't understand why. Well, after we got more information later, the puzzle pieces came together and we were able to figure that out why. Mm-hmm. But again, we didn't have that information for years. And so like understanding just something as simple as that should be information that a foster parent should have, because then it can help her through that and why she has that fear and so on and so forth.
The system can definitely improve in that regard.
Yeah, for sure.
And sometimes once kids are older and like they're in counseling, things get learned that way, or but up front, the most information is very helpful.
Oh, definitely.
And it helps with your decision to decide to take the placement.
Yeah, well, that's a huge piece too. I mean, you hear stories of foster parents who don't want to take a placement because they don't have enough information. And it's like, well, if I had enough information, I would have taken that kid. Or you hear foster parents who take kids and they're like, oh yeah, you're getting a 6-month-old, and then they go to pick up the child and the child's 2, right? Like you hear stories about that from other foster parents, and it's crazy to think like, how do they not even know the age or the gender? I mean, when I said yes to my daughter, I knew her name, her race, and her age. Okay. When I said yes, that was it.
Wow, bare bones.
Bare bones.
Like you almost don't have any bones.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Exactly. When I license people, one of the parts of assessing how they can help us and how, it's finding out what kind of issues they're not comfortable with. Yeah. Engaging, and setting everyone up for success as much as possible.
Yeah, that's a huge
I've had people say, I can't, because of my own trauma, I can't, please don't give me cases that are of this nature or that nature. And it's good to know that.
It is. It definitely is. Yeah, because even as adults, we have our own trauma and past experiences that shape who we are. And so you would hate to put a kid in a situation where the foster parent can't support them, because of...
Yeah, and then the poor kid gets... ends up moving or notice is given. And that's things that can be avoided. Really should. Yeah, it should. I mean, I had a student who that happened. She was in I think her 6th placement at 16. And
she got disrupted again. And it was so sad to one day go to school and she was gone.
That's so sad.
Yeah. And all because the foster parent and her weren't on the same page. You know, and the foster parent, she was a child that shouldn't have been in that home to begin with. But I don't think the foster parent had the whole picture, you know, of her trauma and what the foster parent could handle.
Yeah, totally. Wow, we can talk forever.
Yeah, definitely.
So good. And you know what I didn't share with our viewers is that you were on our panel back in May.
Yeah, I was. That was really fun, actually.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
It was so fun. We had Miles on.
Oh, okay, yeah.
We had Patty back on the show, and
awesome.
you're our last person.
I love that
was there and now was able to like share a little bit more, and want to have you back.
Yes, that would be great. This was fun.
Yeah, keep up. And there's so many questions I didn't get a chance to ask you, but being told this is all the time we have for today's video. Before I let you go, is there anything you're celebrating?
Ooh.
Personal or professional?
Well, I did get my master's this year.
What?
Yeah.
Wow. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
What's it in?
Mental health and wellness.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
You get another one.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so it was really exciting. And honestly, being a foster parent kind of helped find my passion for not only being a teacher, but just diving into the mental health side of it, you know, seeing it in our youth. Our youth needs so much support in mental health. And that's really kind of where my passion's coming from.
Well, I see a world of wonderful things coming for you and from you.
Thank you.
So I wish you tons of success with your little ones, and you know, who knows, maybe more to come.
Yes, definitely.
And good luck with the case, your little boy's case.
Thank you.
And we look forward to having you back.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you.
Bye, everyone.
See you later.
I know you enjoyed this episode. Hit me with a comment on our tech if you want, but take care. Bye.